Are we filming? Yes, we are. So thank you. Welcome to another one of my video podcasts. I really appreciate the fact you're tuning in, as it were. As you're probably aware, I am now uploading video podcasts at random, hopefully regularly, but I am now, as you're probably aware, if you've seen previous video explaining all this, I guess I'm just focusing on content rather than scheduling, which I hope is a good thing. So on with these questions and interactions, which I really enjoy sharing with you. First of all, a really nice one. So, before we do, I just want to let you know what I'm using this week. So, as far as my podcast notes, I am using a filofax Kent in pocket size, which is unusual for me because I don't normally use pocket size binders. However, in the interests of familiarity, perhaps science, who knows, this week I have been using a pocket sized filofax for video notes, if you like. What paper am I using? I am not using this. Let me just show you this. So this is a pocket sized insert. It's too small for me. I need something a little bit bigger. So what I'm doing is, let me actually just compare them, because then you'll see what a difference there is. So, okay, so I'm using my pocket filofax Kent, and on your right, that is the pocket sized insert, and on my left, this is, and let me hide that because I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Or you could probably see through and mirror image, but anyway, I don't care. Here it is. So a massive difference between the standard size, i.e. the official pocket size, and this. What is this? This is a piece of A4 cut into quarters. So I'm trying to use my paper economically and efficiently, not officially. Unofficially perhaps, but certainly efficiently if I can. So what am I using apart from my pocket filofax Kent this week? So quite a few. First of all, my Guildford Mini Extra Slim, which I'm using as an inbox to jot down things, and also I've got my infamous or famous, whatever, it's not famous, 16-page 12-month rolling mini diary. So I'm using this a reasonable amount this week. I'm also using my Frankenfax to basically work on some video projects, and as an inbox. I'm also using my Fax Poplar 15, which you've seen before, which I like because it has no pockets, no pen loop, no securing strap. It is a working tool, and I like the fact that it has superb, absolutely perfect flatability. So if you're using it on a desk and you have several filofaxes and other binders open, for me, as you all know, flatability is the magic phrase. Couple of other things. One I am using is not a moleskin, but it is effectively the same as a moleskin. I am using this. I've been using this more than any other at the moment. Okay, so why am I doing that? I've been devising a system that allows me to use this, and I will talk about that in a forthcoming video. But I have a system which I'm trying and obviously if it doesn't work, then at least I've tried it and I've shared my system with you. But as a quick heads up, this is actually working extraordinarily well, but all will be revealed in a future video. Oh, by the way, do you like that? I like that. Instead of having the pen loop here, I do like the pen loop at the back here on the spine, and that's just a little teaser, but I'll be talking about that more in a future episode. And finally, as you will probably know, I have been using this. I've actually done a fairly in-depth review about this. This is the Alan Berthaud. Forgive me, Mr. Berthaud, if I've pronounced your name wrong. This is a collaboration between the Belgian company Atoma and the Belgian company Alan Berthaud Design Works, and it's got a really sort of nice felt cover, and it's got an ingenious way of having both a cover and the discs that form a display system on the back. Not good if you've got an antique mahogany table, as I've already discussed, but I am liking this. And just a little bit of a teaser. I am using a new system that allows me to use the same system in a Moleskine type notebook with fixed pages, a detached disc-bound binder, and also a binder from traditional ring-based binder from Filofaxes. Other manufacturers are obviously available. So I am finding this a really, really nice therapeutic. It's got a I mean, I'm banging on about it, but I'm banging on about it because I really, really like it. Anyway, let me put that to one side before I open it and start eulogizing about my Alan Berthaud binder anymore. But just let me start with a comment about this, because one of my channel members says that she reports that she's got two of these. She's got this pocket size one, and she's got the A5 version, the nominally A5. So this is it's 80 by 140 rather than 90 by 140. So it's the same height as a traditional A6 notebook, as you can see, but the paper inside, to take into account the rings, is just slightly, it's about 1 centimetre narrower. So that's what she has, and she reports that it's very nice and she enjoys it. And she also has a William Hanna disc-based notebook, and I am trying to get hold of one at a reasonable cost to review, because I think it's a absolutely fantastic thing. But maybe that's something for the future, perhaps. What I did, I had a bit of a chat with this channel member about about this felt material, because what I mentioned in my review was, if you look at this under a microscope, it's obviously it's basically likely to pick up dirt and bugs over time, and I was speculating as to the longevity of the felt if I put it in the washing machine every so often. Just took out the paper, detached the rings, or the discs in this case, and put it in the washing machine. My channel member concurs with me that it's probably going to be okay, because as she tells me, that felt is just boiled wool. So if it can presumably when it's boiled, it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks, but it gets to the point where putting it in the washing machine at 30 degrees or even 40 degrees is not probably going to make a difference. However, I will be doing that. I will be testing that in a few weeks' time to see, you know, putting the life of my binder on the line for the purposes in the interest of science. But I will be doing that. So an interesting conversation. So thank you very much. Okay, let's move on. So, I just want to say this thing that you've probably seen already. Yet another channel member says congratulations for my 30th anniversary. And what this channel member is referring to is the fact that this month is the 30th anniversary of my first Filofax purchase. It was a Filofax Sherwood in September, purchased new in September 1993 for the princely sum of either $49.95 or $49.99 from a branch of W.H. Smith's here in the UK. A store, a chain that whose history goes back a couple of hundred years. So I quite like that sort of symbolism. But it's a binder that I use almost every day, and it is my favourite. It is my favourite binder, probably because the quality is superb. The flatability from the very first day was and still is superb, and also the leather is great, and it's not the most expensive one. It certainly wasn't it was mid-range at the time, but as far as I'm concerned, the quality is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I'd love it if Filofax could produce something similar. Maybe bring back perhaps some facsimile models. A regular commenter on social media, when I asked this week where these Winchester models are made. Let's go back a little bit. I'm just going to blow my nose. That's better. So we all know. Have I got one here? Have I got one here? There's quite a few. My daughter's out. No, I don't have a Winchester with me right now. But the thing is, the Winchester model is a vintage Filofax that it was built for business. So it's not fancy, but it's really, really high quality. And as you may or may not know, Filofax enthusiasts in Japan are perhaps some of the most fanatical around the globe. And so Filofax, the Filofax company, in their wisdom, produced for the 100th anniversary of the Filofax brand, if you like, back in 2021, they produced some Winchester, a limited number of Winchester facsimile binders that looked superb, and they were clearly built to the same design standards as the Winchesters that were made in the UK, and this social media contributor informs me that they were made in India, not the UK. I've kind of lost my thread here, so forgive me if I've got it wrong. But do you know what? I would love it if Filofax could make. I mean, we didn't get anything like that in the UK here. I thought. Now this is a thing. I honestly thought, and I haven't spoken much about this, but I think we got a few stickers and things, and we had some fancy packaging, but we didn't actually get any facsimile models. And we did on the 75th anniversary of the Filofax brand, we did get some facsimile models, but we didn't on the 100th. I personally think that's strange, especially since the Japanese fans did get a centenary edition facsimile model, i.e. I think they may have got more than one actually, but they certainly got these Winchester models that pop up for a lot of money occasionally on eBay globally. But I would love it if they did a few of these facsimile models like the Sherwood, which I was talking about. Just so that people can enjoy those binders of yesteryear. If a Sherwood became available today in the original quality, not the later Sherwood quality, I wouldn't want one of those, but certainly the original quality, I would love it if they could make some of those. I would buy maybe several. No, I'd just buy one because I wouldn't want to be greedy. Okay, let's move on before I dig myself a hole. RSS feeds for YouTube. Why am I talking about this? Because I had quite a long discussion that was in a previous video podcast about the whole issue over whether a video podcast on YouTube is actually a podcast or not. And as you might recall, this commenter said that it's not that one of the definitions of a podcast, which I disagree with, but I did state my reasons. One of the requirements that this gentleman, I think it was a gentleman, suggested was that there is an RSS feed, and I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure. I think the intention is to have an RSS feed, but if there is an RSS feed, it's not very clear. It's certainly not very clear to me. So if those of you that are more technical, perhaps you could let me know in the comments, and not just say, oh, they do offer an RSS feed. Actually, perhaps give me some information so that I can actually discover whether there is an RSS feed or not. But this gentleman today, a different gentleman, says YouTube channels can also be fed into an RSS feed. So I would love to discover why. To be honest, I probably wouldn't bother myself, simply because I'm more than happy just having my phone. I mean, luckily I have unlimited data. I'm not that fussed about whether or not you can listen to a YouTube video podcast as audio only on an RSS feed. But we are where we are. And also the other thing is, people doing these video podcasts are generally offering a video. They're doing the video format for a number of reasons, but one is because they're demonstrating something. They're holding something up to the camera and showing someone, which doesn't really translate into a an audio feed very much, and I'm acutely aware I do try and make it audio friendly, but quite often I make mistakes, so forgive me if I'm holding something up to the camera and you're listening to this podcast and you think, Neil, what are you doing? I'm listening to it, so please describe it. Okay, next comment. This is something after my own heart, because let me show you this. So this is my Frankenfax, and as you can see, the reason why this works so well for me, this is my opinion and I'm sticking to it, is the fact that if you cut the corners off both the dashboard and the paper sheets therein, you are more easily able to do that. Isn't that a lovely sound? Krause rings, possibly as old, you know, as much as 50 years old, probably 40 years old. They're lovely and smooth, perfectly in alignment, absolutely lovely. I'm just sort of bragging, really. I don't mean to, but I do love me some Krause rings. So this guy says, I like to cut corners off to access opening levers to properly open your rings. And not only that, but you get better ease of page turning when turning pages. Well, I have had a thought about this, and the gentleman I'm inclined to agree with, because although there is this is punched with a 5.5mm hole punch. It's unnecessarily large, but it is the hole punch I have. I do have a manual single 3mm punch, but I've kind of got into the habit now of just using that for emergencies and just using my 5.5mm hole punch, which is a 6-hole adjustable punch, and I'm just using that for everything, personal size, even down to mini size. And there is a certain element of paper interference, but for me, because I only use a few pages in here, I don't overstuff it. The pages, they do interfere with each other to a certain extent, but hardly anything at all with the limited number of sheets in here. But I must admit, I know this is a bit nerdy, but if you can imagine, this is probably all right here, a little bit of interference, but at the top you can see that one there is crossing over that one there, and that's bearable. But if I didn't cut these off, I agree with the contributor. There would be an element of paper interference up here, which would result potentially in sort of unsightly pages turning over at the edges as they have fought with each other in the battle to stay flat. So I'm in agreement with that, and I think that if you don't use dividers, if you don't have a pen loop in the way, I think this works very, very well. And although the difference, have I got a sheet of normal? Yes, I have. Let me not be lazy. Let me take one out of. I'll take one out of one of my. Oh, we do have a Winchester. So we do have a Winchester here. Just going back to the Winchesters. One of the reasons I like Winchesters, but it has to be a certain type of Winchester, is this. The problem is that when a lot of them are quite stiff, a well-used one has perfect flatability, but you do have to either spend 50 years getting it to that state yourself, or search for one that has had heavy use for half a century and lies flat by itself. And I actually prefer doing that. I'd much prefer buying an older Winchester that has perfect flatability than having one where I buy it secondhand and it's been sitting in a cupboard or a drawer for a long time, and then you have to spend time. I haven't got time to make a filofax flattable. I haven't got time. Life is too short, and certainly, you know, if I use this every day for the rest of my life, who knows whether that's be 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or 1 year, I'm almost certainly going to be whoever uses this after I'm long gone will probably go, oh, it hasn't got flatability. Not very good anyway. This is a calf leather one as well. Some of them were made out of Moroccan leather. This is a calf leather one, and it's just even though the construction lends itself to flatability in good time, all in good time, the question is, do you have time to buy it, to manipulate it yourself? I personally think it's a lot easier to buy a worn one that has flatability. But what I was going to do is, I was just digressing. I'll actually take a standard sheet from a personal size binder, and I will actually this time fit it into the rings. And okay, so they're hanging from the rings. I think the holes are more or less similar. So there's the gap between the top of the hole and the edge of the paper is going to be the same for this piece or my page underneath. I think the rings are probably the same. So you can see that there is, even though it's sort of imperceptible really, there is a lot more real estate here. So that is what I do, and that is why I cut the corners. And this gentleman, I think it's a gentleman, I totally agree with him about the fact that cutting the corners, he doesn't mention oversized paper, oversized sheets, but he does talk about the interference between these sheets of paper and how cutting off the corners actually improves things. So I agree with that. I agree with that. Next, another comment from a channel member, and I'm not trying to labour the point, but in case you're wondering, there's more non-channel members than channel members, quite obviously, by quite a margin. But there is, for some reason, a higher percentage of channel member comments than non-channel member comments in the grand scheme of things. Why is that? It's a perk of channel members. Simple as that. Hi Neil, I am more than happy with random posting. It's a nice surprise when each one lands. So, my channel member is commenting on the fact that both my podcast, which used to appear on Saturday here in the UK at 8 PM, and also my remaining videos each week used to appear at 8 PM UK time on a Sunday, and that has all changed now, so I'm doing them at random. But thank you for that. This lady is very, very happy with that, and that's great. Thank you. And then someone else says, I do echo the same. Random posting is fine. And then someone else says, YouTube lets me pause a video and pick up where I left off at a later time. Now, there's a couple of points here. One is, I'm very, very grateful that the change from scheduled postings to random postings hasn't caused too much problem. Why do I know that? It's because I've had some nice feedback, and I did ask for feedback about this, and I've had quite a few more, but I've just picked 3 at random. But also, this point about how, let me read that again. YouTube lets me pause a video and pick up where I left off at a later time. Now, this is important because if you are logged in to your YouTube account so that you can see your see the channels to which you are subscribed, it is indeed the case that if you watch a video halfway, and to be honest, these in fact, I don't even know how long. I forgot to put the egg timer, reverse the egg timer, but we're up to 30 minutes. If you do indeed not necessarily subscribe, but you just log in and you can see sorry, what am I talking about? So if you subscribe to a channel, then what will happen is you will, let me explain this. If you watch this video halfway through and then decide to pause it and then go to work, sort out the kids, go to college, get a meal, whatever, if you come back to this video several days later, you will be able to pick up from where you left off. And that's really important. And it's a really, really good benefit. And I'm not plugging the whole process of subscribing to a channel, but it is really, really worth it if you want to have a break and then pick up where you left off a little while later. And I really like doing that with longer podcasts myself. But yes, so it's a good idea to subscribe. So this guy is clearly a subscriber. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to do this. He'd have to, well, he'd have to make some a note of how far into each video he watches if he really wants to do that. So subscribing to a channel makes it very, very easy. So that is my recommendation, and it's a really, really good point. Okay, so there are some comments on why I write in capital letters. I did a video a little while ago about this subject. And again, this is from a channel member who says that it is a fascinating video. And goes on to say, I just love your channel. To be honest, I think your channel gets better and better. Well, I mean, praise indeed. I mean, that's what it's all about for me. I want to get this message out there because I'm interested in sharing my enthusiasm for paper-based productivity in what is a predominantly digital world these days. But it's just nice to have a nice, kind comment like that. So thank you. There are some comments saying that writing in capital letters is too long. But this is what I think. I mean, I can type faster than I can write. So why don't I live in the digital world instead? Well, each to their own. I mean, I do like writing. My writing is pretty rubbish because I'm a left-hander and I write slowly anyway. But the thing is, and I've had a think about this. I was having a think about this before the podcast, and I was downstairs having a coffee, and I think I see it as an investment for my descendants. I want my writing to be readable possibly in several hundred years. And spellings change over time through common usage. Phrases change. When I say I am banging on about something, is that going to have a different meaning in 400 years? Well, it might well do. They might go, what's this guy going on about? Banging on. And so we might even have a significant change in the English language in terms of vocabulary. I read somewhere that the average person in the street who hasn't got a specific reason to have an extended vocabulary manages on 3,000 words. How many of those words will be different in 300 or 400 years' time? I mean, when you read Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, which I believe was published in around about 1400 in English, one of the very early books, manuscripts written in English as we would know it. It's actually, I mean, I'm not going to give examples because I don't want to masquerade as an expert in the development of the English language, but it does fascinate me, and I'm pretty sure that in a few hundred years' time, when my descendants look at one of my diaries, and it may exist, I mean, it may not, but it might exist, I'm trying to at least help them along by writing in capital letters. I'll give you an example of that. I'm trying to decipher writing a diary written in 1859 by my great grandmother when she was a girl, 10 or 11 years old. Beautiful copperplate, but can I read it? Every single word I have to examine and look and seek advice from others who are able to more easily decipher this copperplate writing. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. And even for myself, what if I look at a note in a year's time or 2 years' time? Would I be able to read my joined up handwriting, in myself in very short order if I return to that page 1, 2, 3 years later? I'm not so sure, but I do know that I am okay with reading my writing in capitals, and I'm hoping that my descendants will agree with that. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm recording this, I'm making this video in mid-September, actually late September 2023, and I mean, I've mentioned this before, but here we are. We're able to look on YouTube and other platforms, and we're able to look at Queen Victoria in her carriage riding through London. And that was not shot on an iPhone. It was shot on one of those probably hand-cranked box film cameras. And then that celluloid film was transferred onto maybe video or maybe digital, maybe it still exists, but it may have gone through a film, might have gone through several formats between when it was originally shot and the viewers of today. And once a video is released into the global arena, if you like, there's nothing to stop an individual in South America or China or Palermo, Sicily, in making a copy of that and downloading it onto their computer. And so once it's once it's out there, it is possible that it might have been copied in another format at some point. And so it's possible that I can be talking to my descendants in 1,000 years' time, and they may not understand half the words I'm saying because their language may have changed significantly over that millennia. But hopefully there will be, translation or online translators. But it is the written word in capitals, which I think, for me, is a good idea. Coffee break. Not right now. I've just had one, but another channel member was watching my coffee break, in which I was talking about tins, and in particular the Helix tin. I don't have it here. Downstairs. Damn. The Helix tin, whose design accommodates a mathematics set protractor and a set square and a ruler and a pencil and a sharpener and a rubber and a compass, all in a metal tin, designed for the purpose. And certainly that design hasn't changed for 50 years because I remember it precisely at school. And anyway, this channel member who lives on the other side of the world said that she really wanted this tin, and she was going to Google it, and she's pleased to report that she's found one. She's actually found one. This Helix company, I mean, they're probably going to be made in China now, aren't they? Not in England. But the design has stayed more or less the same since 1880, I think 1891 or 1889. I'm not quite sure. But from Victorian times, and it's a lovely design of tin. I wish I'd got one up here. I should have been more prepared, really. Sorry. She's found one. And do you know what? The reason why I mention this is because when someone, it's not a case of, oh, well, excellent, and then you move on. I am actually really pleased. I'm delighted that this person has engaged with the process and obviously enjoyed in this case, a coffee break video, and then taken some steps to find this, expressed her preference for this tin, worried she couldn't find one, and then reports back to me that she has found one. And I just want to say, when you, as a viewer, make a discovery like that, I absolutely love hearing about that. So that's why I'm including the thing about the Helix tin in my podcast. And bear with me again, because I've obviously got maybe a cold coming on. Excuse me. Right. Another channel member is talking about deringing. You will recall that I had a lot of trouble with my Portlands, and the ring mechanism in my mini Portland fell apart. Maybe my fault, who knows. And I was surprised that these 180-degree pieces of the ring mechanism are just an interference fit in here. That was a bit of a shocker for me. So, but I de-ringed it, and this channel member says that they do the de-ringing as well. And I'm sure a lot of people do de-ring this is the first one I've de-ringed myself. And I might do some more. I might do some more. I have in mind, I've got somewhere a Kensington, which I've already modified by removing the zip, because it causes a problem when you're writing on the, I don't use a pocket, but I don't generally use a pocket format filofax. But back in the day, 11 years ago, I was using this particular binder, a brown pocket Kensington, as my go-to everyday carry. And the quality is sensational, and the rings are good, so it's a risky thing removing them, but I am tempted to de-ring it for one reason alone. It will basically fit. If you look at my typical notebook, or if you look at a typical moleskin, the thing is, it's almost perfect for having paper that's 90, but the standard 90 by 140 size, which is nominally A6, in a D-ring Kensington. I am very, very tempted to that. So there's obviously a bit of D-ringing in my mind. I am going to probably do some experiments in the future. And that's the sound of me tearing this note tearing it out of the binder rather than opening the rings. I mean, that's just sacrilege, isn't it? So someone has brought up an interesting point, and I hadn't thought about this before, but I'm going to think about this. So I was talking a little while ago about how this is my favourite pen. I mean, I use Pilot V7s, as you recently will have noticed, but I do like these Pilot G2s. I really do. They work on every type of paper, and they're super smooth. They're super cheap, relatively cheap, and I get through one of these a week. So I buy 50 of these a year. That's how much ink I use, how much writing I do. And this brings up the thorny issue of waste in an environmentally conscious planet of ours. I don't tend to bang on about environmental things because different people have different opinions. So I'm fairly, this is a fairly environmentally free channel, if you like. I don't do religion, don't do politics, I don't do environmental issues. However, that's an awful lot of waste, 50 of these a year. So I'm probably going to do, I'm going to investigate this and find out, for instance, whether it would be better if I just bought the actual refills rather than the pen themselves. I mean, I do chew them a little bit and they get a bit gnarly at the top, you know, like a lot of people. But I am going to investigate whether it's a little bit more user friendly to just use it. I mean, it's going to be cheaper, but we'll see what happens. Okay. This is not a plug because I don't have an affiliate scheme with them. They don't send me free stuff to check, but even if they did, I would be completely unbiased in my opinion of products. But this is a bit of praise for Colt Pens, CULT, here in the UK, Tiverton, Devon. I I'm really, really pleased. I've been a customer of theirs for many, many years. Not every week, but, you know, I buy quite a lot of stuff from them. And I have done recently. And I just want to say, I've had no trouble at all. You do need to shop around a little bit sometimes, obviously, for price. For instance, I got a good deal using Amazon for my Rhodia A4 grid square paper recently, which you'll see in my last video, actually. But I might actually start doing some videos on different suppliers. So this is what I am minded to do, because I have recently bought stationery from quite a few suppliers, some very small shops, like Jackson's, but I have bought a lot from Colt Pens, so I might do one, maybe more videos on stationery suppliers. So bear that in mind. Another channel member says that they've also been a customer for years. So that's all sounds good. Clearly they're not just being good with me, they're being good with everyone. Atoma. While we're on the subject of stationery, as you know, this is, well, it's a collaboration, but it's an Atoma book, and I'm going to be doing in the future several experiments with disc-bound notebooks, and I'm going to be doing some tests, some experiments, some homemade sizes, making my own covers, using different materials, the covers that is, and also at some point I might be investing, and it is a substantial investment, crikey, in an Atoma punch. One of my channel subscribers tells me that she has an ARC punch which will work with Atoma notebooks. I'm going to do a video about the difference between the two, because there is a difference, but not so much as to make a difference to universal capability. They are interchangeable as far as I'm discovering, but there's going to be some experiments about that. I'm very, very pleased with these, and one of the reasons why I've been investigating these is I've tried using these disc-bound notebooks from A4 size. A4 size. I've got experience now of A4 and A5 in the ARC notebook range, which are no longer available. But you know, I've used Atoma in A4. In ARC, I've got A4, A5, and Pocket. Although the Pocket is really large compared to this, it's an unusual size. But in Atoma, I have got A5, this size, and a much smaller size, where instead of, it's about this, so it's half. So effectively, it's A7. In fact, I've actually measured the sheets, and almost to a millimetre, they are actually A7. So that's quite interesting in a sort of nerdy paper size sort of way. How are we doing for time? 54 minutes, so not too bad. I'm trying to keep it to an hour if I can. Bic pens, you'll notice that I'm going to be testing a range of Bic pens, which I last used 45 years ago, probably. I haven't tested them yet. I've got three different ones to test, so that will be the subject of a video soon. One thing that I have done is what I call stiction, where you get a pen, a ballpoint pen, and you have to do this to get it working, and then right, it's working. So I call it stiction, ballpoint stiction, and I noticed that there was only a very small amount of stiction with these Bic pens. So it does appear to be better than they were. And these pens have been available for at least 45 years. I'm not quite sure when they were first introduced. These Bic pens are the ones where there are four pens in one. Most people will know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to be doing some tests in the future. Okay, so what's coming up? What is coming up? So we've got some reviews coming up of rings binders, filofaxes, in particular. Quite a lot of filofax reviews coming up over the next month or so. A pocket Deringing project, which I've just mentioned, about the Kensington, probably the Kensington. Quite a lot of video material on these disc bound planners of all sorts. Why am I just to digress a little bit? What triggered me to do this? To start investigating disc bound planners in this pocket size, because I'm not really a fan of the bigger sizes, and I don't really think that this is a good idea for reference or archive, because the paper will wear every single time you remove the pages and put them back. So but as an inbox, I'm thinking, would this be a better, either A6 or A7, would that be in my pocket better than my fantastic Guildford Mini Extra Slim, for one reason. The reason being these 5 points of trouble here. Now, as you know, I have several of these. I've got a couple of Guildford Mini Extra Slims, that one of which, this one's all right, that's the newer one, but my other one, the rings are very gappy, and I'm scared. I have the fear and anxiety. If I try and sort out the rings, is it going to end up suffering the same fate as my Mini Portland? I don't know. So the reason I have some element of doubt as to whether or not this is perfect. Certainly a jeans pocket, so there's a bit of pressure on the ring mechanism in a jeans pocket, but obviously these are bulletproof, because you're not going to damage them. You're not going to damage them at all. So that is the reason for my renewed interest in disc-bound planners. Could this, or the A7 version of it, replace the mini-sized filofax? I said it. I've said it, and some of you will recoil in horror. Is Neil going to end up more of a disc-bound fanboy than a filofax fanboy? Well, hopefully not, because the larger sizes, I will always be a fan. They're so useful. They're so useful for reference material. But as an inbox, I mean, I'm already using where is it? I'm already using an inbox. My smallest inbox is the one that is a single sheet of paper, A7 paper, effectively A4 folded 3 times to make effectively an envelope that goes around this A7 piece of cardboard here, as the lightest notebook ever. So I'm already doing that, and there is a possibility that I might return to the M2, which will make some people smile. But here we go, M2. I've already had to discount the fact that it's going to be perfect because the dreaded leather is peeling, which I'm disappointed at because the rest of the binder is, the workmanship is absolutely exquisite. But we will see. Obviously, I'm doing lots and lots of experiments along the lines of what I call EDC, everyday carry, something that you will carry every single day. So watch this space, lots going on. There's going to be a bit of some philosophy too. I say no more. Channel members already know what I'm talking about because one of the perks is that they get to know what's coming up. So they will already know what my plans are for the next few videos. But there's also going to be a move towards testing paper and testing pens. So there's lots of permutations, isn't there? If you've got 100 different types of paper and 100 different pens, then that's 10,000 permutations, isn't it? I think, but if I'm wrong with my maths, let me know in the comments. But I just want to end with this because I just want to end with this. I am trying to find a system, a note-taking system that I can use in any size of binder, and that binder could be anything from a disc-bound binder or a ring-bound binder, or indeed a notebook. And I think I have it. And although I chop and change all the time to bring you these tests, and it's something I'm very, very interested in myself, but in a sort of nerdy paper-based productivity way. I'm trying to come up with a system that will allow me to not waste paper. I am not going to get a notebook and write a few things in there just to test it. I want to use it. I actually want to use it, and I am using several things all at once as inboxes. How is that possible to achieve that when the paper from here and the paper from here and the paper from here is not compatible? How am I actually going to be doing that? Well, I think I have a way of doing it, which may well stand the test of time, which will allow me to actively chop and change, swap each week, every couple of days, even on a daily basis, to seamlessly move from one format to another, and even use larger formats like a personal size filofax or the unusual ARC or the M2. How can I actually do that as a working model, but effectively utilize my time effectively by, instead of arbitrarily testing, actually gain experience of using all these systems in the field, as it were, on the road, so that I have first-hand experience of what works and what doesn't. For instance, will this paper, which suffers from a bit of bleed through, it's a little bit surprisingly coarser than I thought, will it work? And also, for instance, will I get annoyed with the fact that the turning over the pages is not quite as smooth with these aluminium rings as it is with the plastic rings? Would I get annoyed with that? Would I feel frustrated with that? The only way I can do that, really, is to use these for myself in person, to be an active user of every single one of these, so that I'm effectively, that every single binder, size, paper, pen effectively become a long-term test that has more validity than just getting a single page, writing with a pen and going, oh well, that seems to work very, very well, no bleed through, okay, so next test please. And I think I have a system that I'm working on now to see if I can do that, so that all these different paper-based systems can actually function together. But time will tell. Time will tell. I think that's just about it. So what I'm going to do is, there is one thing. You will notice that just occasionally I will make a mistake. I will say that something's 80 GSM instead of 90 GSM, or I think I made a mistake when I did my last video talking about how 8 Rhodia pads for £8.78 were really good value, when I actually only bought 3 for the £8.78. So I obviously got confused. In the past, I have actually gone back into the video and edited it to put a caption in the video saying I meant 3, not 8. I'm not going to do that in future, because it takes too much time. What I'm going to do is if there are any errors or omissions, I will add them into the description underneath this video, in each video. So please help me out. If I make a mistake, let me know, and then what I can do is I can add your information, the error that you have spotted. I can and you've kindly alerted it that error to me. I can then adds that as an appendix, if you like. What do they call it when they have it in a book, where they instead of reprinting it, they slip in like a addendum, an amendment sheet at the back? Is it an errata? I don't know what it's called, but let me know. But I'm going to be doing that in you'll notice that I'm going to be doing a sort of errors and omissions section in each YouTube video description from now. So what else have we got? That's basically it. Other than, I just want to say one thing, and I guess it's like a little bit of a plug. So don't worry, I'm not going to plug it too much, but basically if you do want to subscribe. It really, really helps me out. Comments I absolutely love. If you can give me the thumbs up, then that's good as well. But just quickly plug the channel membership thing, because if you do become a channel member, you'll get early access to my videos, typically 24 to 48 hours. You'll also get updates on what I'm going to be doing in terms of what my next videos may or may not be. You'll also get some exclusive updates in the community section, a bit like a blog, not every day, but you'll get some interesting exclusive stuff. And also, as channel members are about to find out, there are a couple of videos that I have in the pipeline that haven't come from me. They have been requests from channel members, and I'm going to be making them for the wider community. But those what has sparked off and effectively started that video has been something that a channel member has asked for, and so that's what I'm going to provide as far as I can. Not every single one, obviously, but as far as I can, I'm going to be providing that opportunity for channel members as a thank you for their continued support. I think that's about everything. But just to make it clear, whether you're a channel member or not, everybody gets to see all my videos. There's no such thing as an exclusive channel member video. There are some perks, as I've been describing, but everybody gets to, if you're not in any hurry, and it's not long to wait before the video comes out, then that's fine too. Thank you for dropping by. That's it. I think everything's done. Have I done everything? Oh, just one thing, and it's from. Let me just blow my nose again. Sorry about this. And once again, it's come from a channel member, and I really like this, so I will end by this. Now, I regularly talk about EDC, which stands for Everyday Carry, and my channel member has suggested another one, which I like it, and I may start using it, and it's PBP, paper-based productivity. I really like that, and we're up to 1 hour 12, 1 hour 13. That's more than enough. Thank you very much, and goodbye.